Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Lexi. How's everyone feeling? Awake? Alert? Yes, you may be sleepy, so please, there's free-flowing coffee. We'd like you to be alert and active for this panel discussion. So thank you very much, panelists, Kim, Arn, Jen, and Rolly. So we are so excited at DCOM to have this panel, to have a representative from different industries, different platforms, to be able to paint a complete picture of what's actually happening in e-commerce beyond the deal sites. Obviously, there's a lot of interest in e-commerce because the deal sites open the door, but then we also have these players currently on stage who have managed to carve out successful niches in the industry in their respective businesses. And this panel is to kind of learn a little bit more about what their success is, why they are successful, and what their challenges are. So, my first question, which I will pose to each of you, is if you could tell us a little bit on the genesis of your respective online stores. Just to give us an example of like when and how you got started for the online store especially, and what made you or your organization decide to go online, and how long did it take from like idea, like okay, let's get online, to when you actually went live. So let's start with Kim.
Okay, hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
So I was taking marketing management in De La Salle University. So I used to study market trends worldwide. At that time, online or e-commerce was one of the trends worldwide, especially for well-developed countries such as US, Japan, or other European countries. So I decided myself to give it a try since I love gadgets. So I tried selling gadgets online, and I started in multiply.com. So up to now, I'm using multiply.com as my main platform for my business.
All right. Thanks.
Hi, good afternoon. So for mymusicstore.com.ph, we started a little over a year ago. To be honest, the decision, the commitment to actually start mymusicstore.com.ph was a difficult decision. Of course, all odds were against us, piracy. Of course, that's a big problem. But for us, the objective was simple. Give Filipinos a choice. So I know it's a little cheesy, but yes, we are believers of that. We want to give Filipinos a choice. An easy, affordable, venue to buy their own music. It took us about 6 to 9 months to go to market. Started 2011 when we started building the site.
Thank you, Arn. Jen?
Hello, everyone. I'm Gerodas-Diaz. I'm the owner of Snoe Beauty. We established Snoe Beauty 2009, but we went live 2011 through Shopinas. When we started with Shopinas, we didn't go live right away, only because we were lazy to take pictures of our products. So it took a while, but as soon as we went live, we aggressively marketed our online store through the social networking sites. That's why right now we're the #1 online store in Shopinas.
Yes, thanks, Jen. And Sir Rolly?
Hi. SureSeats.com is the online ticketing system of Ayala Mall Cinemas. It's actually the first online ticketing system among cinemas in the Philippines, and we started in 2001 actually. The main reason we launched SureSeats.com is we wanted to offer convenience to our customers. Convenience because instead of going to the cinema to buy your tickets, you can just buy online at your own convenient time. And it took us about a year to develop the system because we started from scratch. We did not buy a complete finished system. We had to customize a ticketing system for us. So it took us about a year to develop it.
All right. Okay, so from a year, six to 9 months, and for the two ladies basically immediately, right? Because the system was there for you to get started. All right. So the next question, please share with us what your online store operations look like. How big is your team? What are the roles? So that we as an audience can get a sense like what actually happens behind the scenes with an e-commerce store.
Well, as for my online business, I have above 10 employees. These employees are the ones who play a vital role in my daily operations. There are some who is handling my sales and marketing, research and development, operations and logistics, plus after-sales support. And we also outsource courier partners and contractual employees.
For what will those contractual
Normally,
employees
ma'am,
serve?
for deliveries.
For deliveries.
COD deliveries.
For COD. So
Yes,
you do
ma'am.
COD.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Aaron?
Well, sorry. Well, for my music store, we have different groups behind it. So we have shared resources. We have a creative group that handles all of the conversion of the album covers, promos that goes on the site. We have an integration content group that basically creates all the previews of the songs, uploads it, labels it properly. There's also a group behind marketing and another group for music labels, relationships. So all happens well within our group of companies. So it's all a lot. It's a lot of shared resources that we have within the organization.
I have 7 in my backroom office, but only 2 people handle my online sales. I also have 2 other people handling my online marketing. We receive feedback from our customers through social networks. So we're very active on Facebook, on Instagram, and even on Twitter. So that's where we get all our customer feedback. Partnering with Shopinas is actually, it makes it easier for us because we don't have to compute anymore. They just come in, pick it up, and we just pack it for them. So everything, all the scheduling, all the buying, and receiving of the payment is all through the site.
Sir?
For Sure Seats, it's also a very lean team. At the head office, we have only 2 full-time staff doing the transactions. One handles customer service, another guy handles the technical, and these 2 people reports to a manager who is a technical manager. But this manager is not full-time in the ticketing system. He does also the shared services. Then, aside from those 3 people, there is also support from accounting department, of course, for accounting purposes. And those people are in the head office. Now, in the cinema itself, there's another guy also that handles the transaction. So it's very lean. Thank you.
All right. So now we know how they started and we know what their team looks like. So let's get into what were or are the biggest challenges in running your online store.
My biggest challenge running an online store is to serve and provide for those ever-growing or demanding customers. Because I believe each and every customer has their own demands on how they want to acquire their product or services.
Give an example, like what's unique that it's actually a challenge for you.
On my online store, you can receive your item via cash on delivery, via shipping. So we follow the instructions based from the customer's request.
So it's almost like the customer dictates, like, can I do it this way? And you will find ways to comply with the request.
Yes.
Wow, okay. That's customer service with a capital CS. And you also, yes, you wanted to add something?
And then for the meetups, we could also deliver with their offices. It just depends on the schedules.
I see. Okay.
Well, for my music store, the biggest challenge has always been the payment options. We sell songs, singles, as low as 15 pesos. And we sell albums as high as 400 pesos. So bringing it to the masa, we had to deal with a lot of challenges. I think earlier we saw that, PayPal, credit cards, It's not a lot here in the Philippines. So one key payment option that we were successful in deploying in our website that contributed to a lot of the sales of My Music Store is the mobile payment solution. So essentially, we partnered with Smart, and you basically can use your airtime load to pay for music. So if it's 15 pesos, 20 pesos, 25 pesos, it becomes an easier transaction for them. So that's actually, at the beginning, that was the biggest challenge. And now we're working on getting Globe and Sun on board. And hopefully everyone can buy music the right way.
Okay, there's actually two challenges when it comes to selling beauty products online. So one challenge was actually introducing your brand online and actually telling and announcing everyone that you have an online store. So one challenge online, of course, is that you cannot use all your five senses to market your product. Especially when it comes to beauty, people like to feel or smell, right? So they only use the sense of sight. So our posters have to be extra colorful. We use playful words to market our online store so that people will go visit our online store. The second challenge was we do not accept all payment modes. So as a company, we just didn't want to sit down and wait for the customers to order. There were actually a lot of customers that come to us asking us, do you accept GCash payments? And we wanted to grab every opportunity to actually get the sale. That is why, even if you guys don't have GCash, what we did was we would receive the orders ourselves and order it through our Shop in a site. So that's, you can't just sit down and wait for it. So basically, those are the two challenges.
Well, I think for SureSeats.com, the biggest challenge is how to keep the whole system in tip-top shape. Because, in our business, we deal with thousands of customers every day. And in our experience, during the blockbuster season, where all the blockbuster movies will come in from Hollywood, and that will be in around April, May, June, and July. And when there will be thousands of customers who try to go online, sometimes the system will bug down. It will shut down. And that's really a challenge for us. And in fact, that's why we intend to upgrade our system in the near future.
All right. So thank you. And so next question. What are your top customer issues and how do you resolve them? Because obviously those are different considerations. One is your own operations. This one is customer issues or customer complaints.
Well, actually, after the fulfillment of the transaction, the responsibility of the seller doesn't end that way already, because you have to check if the customer have any questions towards their product. You also have to follow up if they receive the item in good condition, because your courier is the one who delivered the item to them. So you have to check once, maybe once in a month, how did they experience the customer service with your store? At the same time, how did the delivery push through? Was it satisfying, or do we have to improve more?
But in your experience, what is the top issue that your customers come back to you with?
Okay. Since I'm dealing with electronics, there's a lot of smartphones right now. So some of the customers doesn't really know how to operate, especially, say, amateurs who doesn't know how to use, let's say, the Play Store or the Android market. So we have to assist them on how to use the platform.
So it's a lot of customer education on the products that you sell.
Yes.
That's really your touch points with your customer.
Yes.
I see. Okay. Good to know.
From our end, the past year we've been doing a lot of adjustments to the system. So we do encounter a lot of bugs every now and then. So we receive complaints related to their payment, loading their wallet, mix up in terms of the cover of the music, the single. But we're basically working on it. We're consistently working on it. One thing internally our attitude towards My Music Store is to keep learning and keep building. So we're embracing all of those problems. We're learning from it, and we just have to keep on evolving. Yes.
So we basically have the same problem that they do. Spillage, like not enough payment modes. So it's basically, yeah, it's the same.
Well, for us, since we started accepting ticket purchase through credit card, what we encounter now is what we call as the chargeback, where customer would contest what will be charged to them as a purchase. There are not too many as of now, but it's an issue, customer issue. And we're working with our partners to how to address that problem through, I heard, through a 3D secure something.
Okay. So next question. Who do you consider as your competition, and how do you assess yourself against them? Do you want to take some time to think about it?
Actually, I consider everyone as my competition.
Define
myself.
everyone.
Let's say those stores who's selling gadgets online and offline.
Okay.
Because if you want to say your goal is to be the #1 online gadget store, you have to push yourself to do your best.
Okay, so everyone. Wow, you against the world.
I guess, no, I'm just kidding. Everyone then going, no. From our end, there are direct and indirect competitors. Of course, there are the brick and mortar stores, the ones that sell CDs. But internally, we don't consider anyone as a competitor at this point, simply because we need to stand united, those who sell digital goods, digital media, against piracy. So that's the major competitor that everyone sees. In our industry, that's a big wall that we have to hit and get over. So we welcome all of the new players. We encourage people competitors to really find the way that works with the Filipino market for them to really purchase legitimate music.
How about iTunes?
iTunes is way too big to be considered as our competitor. We're still far from iTunes.
But you offer the same types of songs,
yes,
right? That can be found
we're
on
actually
iTunes.
cheaper than iTunes in songs and albums. We're a little cheaper than iTunes. One thing that I can share to everyone is when iTunes announced that they were launching in the Philippines, our sales spiked. So it's a good thing. If Filipinos, if they create that buzz, that awareness, if they start talking about music, downloading legitimate sources online, we get some hits. It converts to sales to us. So we actually want to support everyone who wants to start selling their own music. The indie guys, there's still a big potential in that market. Streaming is coming, so let's just work together and try to bring this to the Filipinos. I mean, stop piracy.
Snoe Beauty, as a brand, like if we're gonna look at the Filipino market, we're not really in competition with any local brand. One, because my products have, I'd like to think that they have it has a global appeal. If you see in my products, we're being compared to Benefit, Etude House, mostly imported brands. Online, although, we have a little bit of competition online with regards to like other beauty companies that also sell online. But the huge difference between Snoe and the other brands that sell online, especially on the social networking sites, is that we have our FDA license. So we followed government like regulatory requirements to actually operate and sell cosmetics. So I'm part of this group. It's called CCIP. It's Chamber of Cosmetics Philippine Industry. I'm actually the VP for Information and Public Relations. The target of CCIP and the FDA is to actually police what's going on online because it's a safety issue. Most of those brands don't even have their FDA license, or they don't even notify their products with the local FDA. So I think that's one edge over the other brands.
Well, for sure seats, in the theater business, there is a very intense competition because, you know, malls and cinemas are everywhere. But in the online business, and everybody's also in online. So, but I think in general, Ayala Cinemas has a built-in advantage in terms of its customers. I would say that generally, again, our customers is more upscale and probably more into online ticketing purchase. So probably a bigger portion of our business is generated online as compared with our competition.
All right. So next up, and this goes a little into the online, offline sales, because I believe for this applies to Jen and Rolly. Can you share in terms of percentage how much your online, I'll direct it first to Rolly, how much your online ticketing sales contributes to the overall revenue of the cinema group?
Well, I was told, I just asked this from our staff, that around 20% of our business is generated online. It started about 10 to 15%, and then slowly it's growing up, especially when we added the credit card purchase. And we foresee this to grow further slowly. So as of now, it's around 20% of our business is online.
Okay, and Jen?
I don't know an exact figure, but we have 24 retail outlets around Metro Manila and outside Metro Manila. My online store is considered a store. So it actually is, well, it's at par with my sales with the regular store inside the mall. So that's how well we are doing online. Yeah.
Okay. So a follow-up question is, do you find that now having your e-commerce channel, it's increased the lifetime value of a customer? Meaning like whether they buy online, offline, you've increased their spend for your product or your service?
Well, for us, I believe so, yes, it did. Since we are offering convenience to customers and they have the alternative, I think it prolongs, as you have asked the question.
Okay, since the end goal of Snoe Beauty is actually to be a household brand, so we wanted to reach places that we haven't reached yet. Like, for example, you were asking me a while ago, which place do I ship out the most? I would say Pampanga, a lot in Pampanga, which I don't have a store there, and South Cotabato. So those are the two.
So being online has definitely expanded your reach, for sure. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your strategies. What strategies have you implemented in your stores to make it successful? Let's start with Kim.
Since I'm a online gadget store, I see to it that I am the first to release the latest electronics, especially for those items such as the Samsung S3, the iPhone 5s, or soon to be the iPhone 5s. I also make sure that the customer gets quality items, despite the fact that they're getting it at a low price, because we can't avoid that customer might be hesitant buying the item since it's cheap. They might question if the item is authentic or with the quality of the product.
So presence in the market,
Yes.
being the first one to offer something, and price. That's your strategy.
Yes, because right now I think there's a lot of online store, so you should have like what you said. There should be a strategy.
Mhm.
Well, in our case, we've tried radio, we've tried web ads to drive traffic to my music store. But one thing we've learned in the past year is that the celebrities, the artists, the bands, they bring in the fans and they bring in the sales. So our strategy has always been to align with them when they have their road shows, when they promote it on the noontime shows, when they tweet about it, when they post it on Facebook. So it's always a constant reminder for us to be included in part of their efforts to promote their new singles or albums.
We actively market on Facebook. We actually have a promotion budget on Facebook. We have a marketing budget for Google Ads. We also have a lot of promotions and contests. We have the item of the month. We also have 2 annual blogger events a year. We use traditional marketing. We put out billboards, flyers, and we also come out in magazines, TV shows, radio shows. So that's how we market our brand.
I think you should always introduce innovation to your store. Like for SureSeat, we started as a reservation. Slowly, we transformed into ticket selling. Then we continue to introduce innovation. Like now, you can also buy your snacks in advance. And we also do promotions to excite your customers, different types of promotions. And we offer discounts also. So I think you always introduce innovations to your store.
Okay, so next, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs or organizations that are considering setting up their own online store or e-commerce channel? So, and also, what are the mistakes that you made that they can learn from?
If you want to start online, set up your business in multiply.com because Multiply has the complete facility, the payment facility that a seller needs.
Go, Jack.
As for mistakes, I think plan step by step. Don't go too forward. You just have to plan slowly, so everything will be in good condition.
Okay.
From our end, for case of my music store, in terms of what we've learned and what we can advise those who want to start. Number one, clearly define your market. Look for them. They're out there online. Try to profile them quickly. Number two, invest in your technology and your process. Process changes everything. The more efficient you are, the faster, the better, the more you can roll out new products. And well, social media. Use social media. It's very powerful. Just to share with everyone, one tweet from the likes of Gary Valenciano or David Archuleta or Daniel Padilla does miracles on our end. I mean, the traffic they bring are amazing. So there, social media.
Join a reputable, like partner up with a reputable shipper or brand. Like for example, with us, we didn't really want to, we've had offers to join other companies, but you know, stay loyal with Shopinas, of course. And
Go Shopinas.
yes, and Air 21.
Go Air 21.
Sabunutan na to. Hindi. Sorry. Well, anyway. And all of the above. Like, for example, know your brand, know your target market, and then you have to find ways to communicate to your target market para you have an audience, di ba? Aside from that, what we basically do in Snoe is that, for example, Facebook, most of the announcements are there. On Twitter, that's when we announce what's on Facebook. But on Instagram, that we put a personal touch into it. So that's like behind the scenes in Snoe Beauty. So that's basically what's going on in my life. So like, for example, today, you're gonna see that on Instagram because I took a picture of this event. So that's what we basically do, as well as our customers have a tendency to go back to our site and visit us all the time. They're very, very active in giving feedback and liking all our posts only because we have new products every 3 weeks. As well as the vibe and the feel in our Facebook and in all our social networks is just like me, I'm very hyper, I'm very excited, and it's all about because Snoe is all about being fine, fun, and fabulous. So that's the vibe that we give out, and the emotion and the excitement is all there. That's why our customers are very active.
Well, for me, just like in any type of business, whether it's online or whether it's a traditional business, you should start with a feasibility study. And with the feasibility study, you will address everything from the financial to the operations to the market study. I heard that. To see if the business is viable. And of course, you have to check competition because you might be going into a business which is already saturated. And so be very careful and to study really holistically the business.
Okay, so my last question before we open it up. What do you think needs to happen for e-commerce to really boom here in the Philippines as a business owner?
Besides joining multiply.com,
It's 2 against 1.
To actually do the transactions. So if the government can support that, the big groups can support that, the technology guys, innovations, if we can all come up with a solution for that, I think it's a global problem. So if we can come up with a solution that really enables everyone to do the payment, that'll be great.
Lower shipping cost. That's one, because it was mentioned a while ago, like the last panel discussion. Lower shipping cost, so we can start transactioning outside the country. Also, I think stricter government regulations when it comes to opening up your store online, because it's not as strict as opening a store online or opening a store in retail, like in the mall. So that's another thing. Also, communicating customer safety, for example, or customer rights. So I think those are the important stuff.
Well, you actually mentioned, what I would say, security. I think that has to be addressed because, there are a lot of people who are scared of transacting online for fear of, using their credit cards. I think that's one. And you also mentioned about communication. I would say yes, awareness. And I would like to add that we should simplify the process. Make it very simple and customer friendly. Don't make it complicated. And also, probably we should offer customers compelling reason to do online transactions in so many other ways, through discounts, through different types of promotions.
All right, so I think we covered a lot of ground here with the prepared questions. It's time now to open the floor for our audience.
Sheila, I think we can start with a text-in question that's already there.
Okay.
So a question to the panel. BIR recently announced that they will go after online sellers who don't pay taxes. Are you for that or against it?
well, actually, in my case, I have documented so in any case, I would like to check. I have
So you would support the BIR to go after these
It's not about, sorry, cheating, or maybe they just want authenticity, just to avoid bogus or scam.
Okay. Although I think this question is more of a revenue issue, right? The BIR is looking at online sellers as a tax revenue source that is currently not perhaps being. So in this case, you would be supportive of their efforts to be more aggressive to go after online sellers.
Well, actually, online is just progressing. So I think they could check other fields.
So prioritize other fields before looking at online. Is that your position? Okay. All right. Fair.
Well, we pay taxes, so yeah, we're okay with BIR.
Yeah, we pay taxes.
Well, we have no choice but to follow the law.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Yes.
follow.
So our panel is very compliant. So is anyone from the government here? BIR? Anyone? All right. Any other texting questions? Okay. Question for SureSeats. Are you experiencing credit card fraud on SureSeats.com? How do you combat it?
Well, as I mentioned a while ago, we are experiencing what we call as chargeback. Whether these are frauds, we don't know yet. We are not yet in that stage. Hopefully, we will not. And if ever we'll do, we'll work with our partners to avoid or at least minimize fraud.
Okay. Are there any other? Are we still okay on time? One more question from the audience. Okay.
I'm Cherry Miguel again, CEO of ChiquiboMarketing.com. You never mentioned about how is your business, how do you make money in your business? You talk about, I own this Shopping-Nas, I own this blah, blah, blah. How do you make money?
Well, from our end,
You never talk about your revenue. That's why we're boosting up e-commerce, right? To make people, buy from us. So, wow, I make 1 billion this year. Isn't it nice to say that?
Okay, so could you share a little bit about your revenue model? I understand, Kim Store, you're a straight up retailer, is that correct?
I don't know if my answer is acceptable.
Go ahead. It's a trial and error. Go ahead.
Ma'am, it's like this. I keep my sales confidential, but as the e-commerce is really blooming, my sales is rapidly increasing also. So I would encourage those sellers to try online. Because it's the
Yeah,
easiest
try
and
online, yeah, but what's your compelling reason for us to be online?
As the point of view of the buyer or as the point of view of the seller?
Both.
As the seller, you will have lower operating costs.
Okay.
For the buyers, you will get it cheaper and more convenient.
Okay. Thank you. How about you, sir?
To answer your first question,
Sorry about that.
to answer your first question, we have a revenue share model with the music labels, so we get a piece of that. That's where we make money. In terms of sales, I would also give a showbiz answer. We keep that confidential at this point. We're showbiz. We're far from a billion. But we're very successful in basically breaking that mentality that Pinoys don't really buy online music. Worldwide, it's 95% all of downloaded music is illegal. That's a statistic that I just googled this morning. So from our end, our objective was to prove if Filipinos are willing to buy. So we've done that. It's a matter of just scaling the product and really bringing it to market.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Vanessa, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Of course, we have margins.
Okay.
So, and aside from that, Snoe is a 3-year-old brand. In the span of 3 years, we opened 24 stores. So that kind of like gives you an idea how much money I'm making. Right? And also, aside from that, by May, Snowy Beauty is going to be available in Urban Outfitters in the US. Yes. So, so you know basically.
Okay. But you're talking about, I want the government to help the e-commerce, but you don't reveal your revenue. How can the government will help you? And you talk about the VAR a while ago, and you don't want to answer about the VAR problem.
No, we do reveal our revenue to the government, but not here.
This may be a good business. What's your opinion? How about you, sir?
Well, I think we're quite different. Shoes is quite different because when you put up shoes, it's not really as a business, but to offer a different channel to customers. We don't make money out of money, but we make money out of the ticket selling. So, but we do derive minimal revenue to shoes to reservation fee. That's very minimal because probably our business model is different. It's not an outright store.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you for your question, and thank you, panelists, for your time. We really appreciate it.